Today we'll be talking about methods. In Java, methods are a group of codes that perform a specific task. Methods helps programmers in a lot of ways. For example, methods help programmers to write a group of codes and use this code in several positions in their program. Also, it helps the programmers to also separate tasks into different self-contained units so that each method perform a specific task. This helps you to organize your codes well so that whenever you want to make amendment to a specific task, you are not supposed to go through the whole program, but you only have to visit the part of the code or the method that is performing that task. So in our tutorial today, we are going to discuss about methods and how to handle it in Java. One thing that you have to understand is in Java there are two ways of handling methods. We have static methods and non-static methods. We are going to learn how to use non-static methods first. Then after that, we learn how to use static methods. So for now, let me create a new project. Then Java, then I move to U2 functions. Let me change the name. So don't worry. So let me public void addition. So we are going to create a method called addition, and in this method we are only going to add two variables. So we have double A equal to 90, comma B equal to 80. So in it we are going to create a double variable sum equal to A plus B. Then I will print out the value of sum. Let's go to the syntax of a method. In Java, a method is supposed to have an access modifier. The access modifier can be public, private, default, and protected. When we get to classes, we are going to explain them very well. So for now, let's use public. This is the return type. We have void, we have double, we have integer, we have float, we have string. The data type depends on the type of the value that you are returning in the method. For example, if you are returning a double value, you're supposed to give the data type of the method double. The same way, if you are returning an integer value, you have to give the method an integer. So for now, with this example, we are not going to return any value. That is why we've given it void. This addition is a method name. It's a name that we have decided to give this method. You can use any other name. You can use any other name depending on you. But for now, because our group of codes is supposed to do addition, we are going to use the addition as a name to our method. So this is how we deal with non-static methods. In non-static methods, if you create any method that is a non-static method, for you to execute it, you have to create an object of the class. So what is the name of our class? We have YouTube methods. So it's going to be YouTube methods. Then we give it an object name equal to new YouTube methods. This is the name of the constructor. We will discuss about constructors in details when we get to classes, but for now, let's maintain it like this. This is the name of the class. This is the object name. It can be any other name, so you can decide to give it any name in your code. This is the new. This is a keyword. So we will use our objects to call our method. So it's going to be y dot addition One thing that you have to take notice, we are only creating the object of this class because we want to use the object to call a non-static method inside a static method. That is why we are using the object here. So let's save it and run it and see our answer. So this is our answer, 170. So let me try and so I'm going to create another method called public multiplication. So public void mult. So in that one too, I'm going to create a equal to 90, then b equal to 80, have some product equal to a B. So we have this, this, the value of products. So once you define a method, if you don't call it in a static main or in a method that will later be called in the static main, that method will never work. So it's going to be y dot mod. So let's run this too and see if it we've defined we've declared a and b here. A is equal to 90 and b is equal to 80. And in the addition to, you've also declared a and b. One thing that you have to understand is whenever you declare a variable inside a method, that variable is a local variable. And it means that when program execution starts in that method, the method will create these variables. And at the end of the method, the program execution or the compiler will what? Destroy those methods, those variables. So it means you won't be able to use those variables in another method. So when you get to that a different method, you have to create them. So these are local variables. So we are going to talk about global variables. One thing is in Java call it fields. So A equal to 90, B equal to 80. Once we declare them globally, it means that it can be used in all the methods that belongs to that class. So for example, we have this A is the 90 over here. So this addition method can access the A and can access the B. And mod method can also access A and B. So let's run it and see. We are supposed to get the same answers as we got. So one thing that you always have to know about methods is they have a return value. When we say a method is supposed to return a value, it means that method, whenever you call it, must produce a result. So in this case, if you want to use we want this method to return a value, it means that we have to delete this part and use the keyword return. So it's going to be some. The system is telling us that this method is not having a return type, so we can't use the return value. So what we have to do is we have to change the return type to double, and we are changing it to double because the return value, the data type of the return value is double. So that's why we've changed it to double. The same way, let's do the same thing here. So return product. So I have to change this one to double. Whenever you return a value in the method, it means that that value holds, that method holds the results. So we can use it in this way. So let's this is the results in the addition method. Addition method. So let's do this same for the multiplication method. So let me shift the code to this side. So we are going to get the same results. One thing is, whenever you allow a method to return a value, it means that you can use that method in calculation. So let's create a variable called total, where we are going to add the two methods. So y dot addition plus y dot mod. Then the results. So let me make it the value So it means that we can use it the way that we use a variable, because these methods contains values. So let's run it and see. So when we add this to this, we are supposed to get this. Let's change our methods and try to read a parameter. So one thing that you have to understand is parameters are local variables. And we define or declare the list of parameters inside the parentheses of the method. So this is going to take this, and this will be there. So let me copy this same thing. So once you use the parameters, it means that in your code, wherever you'll be calling the method, you have to specify values to it. So this is also a way for us to pass a value outside the method to a method. So we are going to pass those values here. So let's move to this place. So we have the first value is going to be 80, 90, 80, 90. Eighty, 90, 80, 90. So let's save it and execute it and see. So this is what we are getting. One beauty thing about using parameters is whenever you call the method, you can change the values that you are going to pass to it. So in this case, let's say we can give it 40. So wherever we call the method, any position that we call it, we can pass it different values to perform the task that we want it to perform. So let's run it and see. So we can change those values here too. So this is about methods. Now this is how to handle non-static methods. For us to handle static methods, we are only going to add static to these methods that we define. So when we make it static methods, it means that we are not supposed to create an object of the class. We can just use the method by just calling it, because the methods are static methods, so there's no need. So for now, we are going to call it without using the object name. Let's execute it and let's see. So it's going to give us the same. So let's try and define a static method. it says a static method is a method that belongs to a class rather than an instance of the class. So it means that static method is a method that belongs to a class rather than an instance of the class. So when we use a static method, we are not supposed to create an instance of a class. That is the object. We can just call that method in the static main without creating an object of it. So in this lesson, we've discussed about global variables and local variables. In program Java, when we say global variables, we are referring to fields. So whenever you create a field, so it can be any name. So this is how we declare a field. Once you declare a field like this, it means it is accessible to all the methods that belongs to a class. When you declare a variable like this in the parameter, it means that this variable A is a local variable and belongs to only this method. It doesn't share this variable or memory space with any other method. This method cannot access this variable, and this variable only lasts during the execution of this method. After the execution of this method, this variable will no longer exist in the computer's memory. So the computer is going to destroy it. The same way, after the execution of this method, the computer will destroy the memory space of this variable. So you can't access it outside this method. Product is also a local variable because you've defined it inside the method. The same way as sum is also a local variable, it cannot be accessed outside the method addition. Methods can also return a value. Methods are supposed to have the same return type as their return value. So in this case, the return value here is product. The data type of this product is what? Double. So compulsory, our method is supposed to what? Have a return type double. So this is the name of the method. So this part of the code is the method definition, where we are defining the method. So defining the method means the place that you will be specifying the various codes that will execute whenever this method is being called. So that is where method definition, or the task that we want to perform, is being carried out. Here we are calling the method. We call the method with the name and the list of parameters that we are supposed to what pass to the method. So this is how we call a method. So let's end here.